Okay, so we are going to move on to a new chapter, a new unit. We're not going to be doing trig anymore. We're going to look at area of 2D shape, surface area, and volume. Today's lesson is specifically on area of 2D shapes. So we'll discuss the formulas for area of these shapes and then find them in different types of shapes. So these are the formulas that we're going to look at in today's lesson. Area of a triangle, and that is 1/2 base times height. The important thing for that one is that your base and height have to meet at a right angle. So you can see that in this picture, B and H are meeting at a right angle, where that box is. Sometimes the height will be inside the triangle, like that imaginary dotted line. Sometimes it'll be an actual side of the triangle. And then there are times where it could be outside of the triangle. It just has to be perpendicular to the base. Next one is a rectangle. So your area is length times width, which you're used to from when you were younger. Sometimes it is also referred to as base times height. Perimeter of a rectangle, which is the distance all the way around the outside. You can either add all the sides together, or the formula for perimeter is 2L plus 2W, because there's 2 lengths and there's 2 widths to find all the way around the outside of a rectangle. Think about it like a fence going around a yard. The next one is a square. You can use the rectangle formulas for a square, or they have more specific ones where the perimeter is 4S, and S stands for side because all the sides are the same. And then the area is S squared, or side times side. Down here, this shape is a parallelogram. So it's kind of like a rectangle, but it's tilted a little bit where the opposite sets of sides are parallel. So here to here is parallel, and then here to here is parallel. Your formula for this is base times height. Your base and height have to be perpendicular to each other. So in this case, the height is an imaginary line inside of your parallelogram, and then it's perpendicular to either of the bases. So sometimes the height can be on the inside, and then sometimes it'll be drawn on the outside and kind of look like that. Dotted line and a right angle on the outside. Your next shape is a trapezoid. So with a trapezoid, 2 sides are parallel. It doesn't have to be the top and the bottom, it can be the sides. In this case, it's the top and the bottom. So your formula for area of a trapezoid is 1/2 height. So the height is the line that is perpendicular between the 2 bases. Like I said, it's not going to necessarily always going to go up and down. It could go left or right. And then times base 1 plus base 2 in parentheses. And then your last shape is a circle. So circumference, which is the distance around a circle, is 2 pi r, or this is kind of cut off, pi d. So r is the radius, which is halfway across a circle. And then d is diameter, which is all the way across a circle. And then your area, pi r squared. So these are the formulas that we're going to be using for these different shapes today. Okay, so first question I'm going to do is number 2. So here we have a triangle, which we all know. Your area formula for a triangle is 1/2 base times height. Remember, your base and height have to be perpendicular. That means they have to meet at a right angle. So this would be your base, and then this line would be your height. Now I know that because they meet at a right angle. That's the most important part. Now, I mean, this picture only has 2 numbers, so it keeps it kind of easy, but if all of the sides were labeled, you need to make sure that you know which ones are meeting at the right angle. So then we're just going to plug these numbers into your formula. So 1/2 times 15 times 21.3. And you can put that right into your calculator. And when you do, you get the area to be 159.75. And when we do area, your units, in this case meters, are always squared. The next one I'm going to look at is number 4. Okay, so here we have a circle. So the area formula for a circle is pi r squared. Pi times r squared. So remember, r is the radius, and that's halfway across. So looking at our picture, 26 yards is all the way across. So halfway across would be 13. That comes from 26 divided by 2 is 13. So your radius, or r, would be 13. And then we can plug in. So pi times 13 squared. And you can put that right into your calculator, and it's going to give you 530.93 yards squared. Okay, the next one I'm going to look at is number 5. So number 5 is a trapezoid. So your formula for a trapezoid is 1/2 the height times base 1 plus base 2, and that's in parentheses. So your bases have to be the sides that are parallel to each other. So your sides that are parallel to each other would be this one and this one. They don't always have to be the top and the bottom. They could be the left and the right, so just keep that in mind. So this is B1, B2. It doesn't matter which one's B1 and B2, it's just those have to be the bases. And then the height is perpendicular to those. So in this case, we have 3 numbers that we can choose from. We need to make sure that we're picking the line that is perpendicular to the bases or forms a right angle. So the only one that has your right angle symbol right here would be the line with 16. So that has to be your height because it's perpendicular to the bases. The other 2 are not. So the other 2 are just extra information that we're not going to need in our formula. They're there to make sure that you know how to recognize which one will be the height. And then we can plug in. So 1/2 times 16, and then base 1 plus base 2, in parentheses, 19 plus 27. Now, if you put this into your calculator, that's fine. Just make sure you type it in exactly how it's written, meaning that you need to have parentheses around the 19 and the 27, or you won't get the correct value back out. So the area in this case would be 368 centimeters squared. And then the last one I want to look at is number 7. So here we have another triangle. So your formula for area of a triangle, 1/2 base times height. Remember, base and height have to be perpendicular. So that means that they have to meet at a right angle. So let's look at our picture. Here's my right angle. So in this case, your height is outside of the triangle and it's kind of an imaginary line. This would be your height. And it forms a right angle with the bottom, so then this line is your base. And that's what you'll plug into the formula. So 1/2 base is 29.5, and then the height is 7. And you can put that right into your calculator, And when you do that, you get 206.5 inches squared. Okay, so you guys are going to try these numbers 1, 3, 6, 8, 9, and 10. Just a hint with number 9, it is a half a circle or a semicircle. So when you use your circle formula, which is pi r squared, you're going to have to take your answer and divide by 2 because it's only half a circle. So just keep that in mind. So you're going to answer those questions now. And here are the answers to those questions with the work. So please check to see if you didn't get one right, why you didn't, and check your work to make sure that your work matches in case your answers were off a little bit. And that is it for area of 2D shapes.